back on the grid, having been on the podium at the opening round. And as we've heard,
first in those conditions, they know to not do anything too daft on that opening lap.
Yeah, Fabio not smiling so much as he was earlier, but as we know, he's a Sunday man.
Yeah, been always so dangerous on a Sunday. And
here we go. They've made it happen. Of course, it was down to the shaman, but they've got everyone who is speaking to Piero Terramasso from Michelin.
But Pierre is better to the abuse. They resist also a lot better to drying track. I mean, you never know.
This season they got to understand the Michelin tyres, but it's always different in a race scenario.
Start of the weekend has had the chance to try those full wet conditions.
Excited about these conditions. He was talking to Natalie earlier. If you're just tuning in, we've had this.
It's funny, he looked like he was relaxed, but we know that there's in those rookies jumping up there. But I think the more likely outcome is
morning. Franco Morbidelli, 3-place grid penalty for him.
And we are going to get a Grand Prix of Indonesia. They waited 25. Petrucci, he'd absolutely love this one, wouldn't he? Especially with all the dirt actually.
As our friends going, go on then, who do you think? And I've started putting now I'm sure there'll be a few of these MotoGP riders wished that here. I think we might see riders putting their hands up.
So here we go, going racing, and Fabio Quartararo gets away, big wheelie though from Jorge Martin Oliveira, and one of the Pramac riders, I'm assuming it's Zarco on the inside.
And he just went backward, but since then he's made up some ground, and in these conditions, if you
go, keep an eye on Pol Espargaro, because he's good in these conditions. He finished on the podium on that.
How fast they're going.
And look at this, and look at that straight away. Fabio Quartararo wasn't too happy, was he, about that issue?
No, absolutely. And Jack Miller, we know how experienced in these conditions up here.
And he's going to come through, he's going to go and lead. Straight away, past Miguel Oli. But we are racing here, and almost, Neil, you have to trust the surface.
In the Superbike race, it took them a few laps to realise that, and it was that last laps where...
And Joan Mir 42.4. He's motoring on.
It's going to be a story of this season from 1 week to the next. Some people having for the race to come to him, but when you're 4 seconds a lap off the pace, well, look at
he's all letting Jack dictate the pace, ready to pick up the pieces if anything goes wrong. It's getting tight in behind conditions. Further back, there's Morbidelli. There is Jorge Martin, who I'm actually surprised at.
4 seconds off what the front guys are running.
He came back there, throwing out on the paint on the outside, and his rear lit up. If you aren't able to do that pace, then you might get caught out. But they're further back down. Brad Binder, I'm surprised at, because in that...
They're after that seat, aren't they? Whoa! That's what happens when you hit a curb.
And that's it. You get the rain out there. Remember, we've already had a run through there. Is he going to take over? I think he is. And Jack says, go on then, Miguel.
But the reason he's not doing is he knows he's got more pace, and he's thinking, right, I'm just going to take
7/10 quicker on that last lap for Miguel Oliveira, race winner in Barcelona. Oh. And that was the moment. Oof. That was the moment.
Horrible.
For Pecco, KTM. So if they are going to replace him, it better be someone good, because he's brought them a lot. Just doesn't seem to be space anywhere. And I honestly thought, Neil, even in...
He's crashed out of a lonely 8th place, really, and he's been disappointing. He's just never been able to find any form. But like I say, this weekend he's looked a different rider. And
Marini, 4 seconds down on Morbidelli, ahead of Brad Binder, and Pol Espargaro behind him. But I'm not sure you can blame Michelin when we've seen the track starting to break up.
Including the paint on those curbs.
Oh, I'm surprised that Dobby, actually, although we do know the Yamaha system quite literally. Oh, and that's Martin crashing out at turn 1. It's a fast one in there, but Jorge Martin, turn 1, that's something we'll keep our eye on, just like that one, as they come out of turn 11 into 12 here. Vinales too. There is Checo Guidotti, the boss now at KTM. Brought an Italian feel to a very pragmatic squad, which was testing it.
No, there's more time to come from you. You're not on the absolute limit.
My goodness.
29.8.
Amazing.
Pole position is at 1 minute 31.
Racetrack in the wet conditions. And it's funny, isn't it, when what we've been talking about all weekend is one who's just dropping back in terms of pace, a 40.2 from the Aussie. That Le Mans race, do you remember when Danilo Petrucci won it in 2020? It was in the cold Le Mans. Alex just joined us in the hospital with a serious concussion. He is out.
Concussion, I mean, it was not nice to watch, was it? It was a violent crash. Right decision. Oh, the opening laps, there's a lot of spray. We've seen that for years. quicker than Miguel Oliveira, and there's 9.5 laps to go. If he wants to win it,
he needs to get through and up it even more, and he's going to do it now on that little switchback.
Binder watch, he's up to 13th place. He's in a battle
into 12th now,
with
lower than Miguel Oliveira. He did, however, have to get off the line, get off the better line. That's the battle for second place. There is Jack Miller, who is in second. Kind of race. It's not hard, is it, when someone's got that extra bit of pace to then stick with
in the wet, but to hang at this pace, to be lapping it
now, and he's all over the back of the Spaniard, and he's going to go through, and he's going to ease Rins.
Fastest lap of the race, down into the 38s. Incredible.
And I think that was a case of it's a factory Ducati colleague who I'm about to go past. I don't want it on his pit board as we come round turn 16.
Incredibly consistent, Miguel Oliveira, and
dive bomb Darren.
That's exactly what we're seeing now
behind his brother.
Oh, this will be
but what we're going to see now is two Binders, because Darren Binder, they're too little, too late.
You're so right. There's a chance here. Is he going to go for the opportunity to win one here? You've got to be selfish. You've got to let that break off when you take
country. And here comes Zarco now, Neil.
And I tell you what,
Zarco's thinking about going through on Jack Miller. There's no hesitation from Fabio Quartararo in MotoGP again. Oh, that got close to the front tyre of Johan Zarco. 5% of race distance completed. That's just in case this rain continues and they deem it unsafe victory. But I don't know who's going to join him on the podium. As it stands, it's Fabio Quartararo who's going to go up per race, up to turn 16, and it may well be as they were.
No, not quite, but he'll take a 4th place, I'll guess. But that said, Rinaya crashed last time out, if you remember, in Qatar. Well, it's currently down in 15th.
Quicker than Oliveira, 3.4 seconds behind Oliveira, with 3 laps to go. He keeps that.
Intelligent rider, I can't see him, I just can't see him risking that much, but that you might be saying P2 okay.
Yeah,
P2 okay, definitely. Twice a day is huge.
It is, of course, Quartararo only picked up 7. At the moment like that could cost him. Bastianini's got into this race. Bastianini fires it through on the inside, through that kink. It's been like that ever since he was a kid. Here comes
3-1.
Aleix is going to 2.6 miles of the track. He's got 2.8 seconds on
Miguel, but I'd rather be watching the battle for 8th, because that's going to be harem-scarums, isn't it?
Oliveira. Last year, you remember that run of 3 podiums in a row, had the win. But first of the season for the Austrian manufacturer, it's victory for Miguel 12th. It's Brad across the line from Aleix, and then it's Darren from Enea Bastian.
And it's hard to believe, isn't it, really, when you think of Francesco Bagnaia winning 4 of the last.
What a ride from the Portuguese man, horrible. What about the ride from the reigning world champion, Neil?